The night was cold in New York City, and the streets hummed with the usual chaos of honking taxis, neon lights, and voices echoing off tall glass buildings. Yet, for Adil Khan, a 32-year-old immigrant from Pakistan, the city felt strangely silent. He had just lost his third job in 6 months, another rejection, another reminder that life in America wasn't the dream he had once believed it would be. He sat on a broken bench outside a closed deli in Queens, his jacket thin against the biting air. His phone buzzed with a message from his mother back home: "Beta, don't worry about us. Just take care of yourself. Allah will make a way." He stared at the screen, guilt heavy in his chest. His mother didn't know that he hadn't sent money for 3 months. Rent was overdue. He was drowning, quietly and invisibly, in a city that promised freedom but delivered only struggle. The beginning of the fall. Adil had once been a bright engineering student back home, the kind of young man neighbors spoke of with pride. He'll make something of himself, they said. And for a while, it seemed true. He had landed in the US on a student visa, worked odd jobs, studied late into the night, and dreamed of a better tomorrow. But reality was harsher than he expected. When his father died suddenly, Adil dropped out of college to support his family. His visa status became messy. Legal paperwork piled up. And in America, once you fall behind, the system rarely waits for you to catch up. A chance encounter. That night on the bench, as despair pressed down on him, an old man appeared shuffling slowly with a cane, carrying a paper bag. His clothes were ragged, his face lined with decades of struggle. "You all right, son?" the man asked, his voice cracked but kind. Adil forced a smile. "Just tired." The old man lowered himself beside him. "Tired is easy. Defeated is dangerous." Adil looked at him, confused. "And how do you know the difference?" The man chuckled softly. "Because I've been both. Lost my job in a factory 30 years ago. Lost my house. Lived under bridges for a while. But I'm still here." Something in the old man's tone, gritty but alive, pierced through Adil's hopelessness. They talked for hours. The man's name was George, a Vietnam veteran who had seen death, poverty, and betrayal but still managed to keep faith in the simple act of surviving one more day. Before leaving, George pressed a small folded note into Adil's hand. "This is the address of a shelter I volunteer at. They help people find work. Not charity. Just a place to start again. The struggle continues." The next morning, Adil almost threw the note away. Pride gnawed at him. He hadn't crossed oceans to end up in a homeless shelter. But something about George's weathered face wouldn't let him. When he arrived, the shelter wasn't what he expected. It wasn't just a place for beds and food. It had a bulletin board of job postings, a computer room, volunteers helping people write resumes, and even a small library. Adil applied for a janitorial position at a hospital. It wasn't glamorous, but it was steady work. He took it. Nights cleaning floors under fluorescent lights felt like humiliation at first, but he reminded himself, this is not the end, it's the bridge. Still, temptation was everywhere. A group of old friends he knew from back home offered him quick money through shady delivery jobs. Easy cash, no one will know, they promised. For a moment, Adil considered it. He was behind on rent. His mother's health was failing. The darkness whispered, one wrong step is still a step forward. But George's words haunted him, defeated is dangerous. The turning point. One night while cleaning at the hospital, Adil noticed a nurse struggling with a vending machine. He helped her, joking in broken English until the machine finally gave way. She left, and for the first time in months, he felt human again. Her name was Emily, and she was kind without pity, curious without judgment. Over weeks, small conversations turned into long ones. Emily discovered he had once studied engineering. She encouraged him to look into certification programs for immigrants. "There are scholarships," she insisted. "You're too smart to be stuck cleaning floors forever." Adil brushed it off at first. Dreams felt dangerous now. But Emily wouldn't let him sink into smallness. One evening, she placed a flyer in his hand: community college evening classes, engineering certification for immigrants. Something inside him stirred. Adil applied, half expecting rejection. Instead, he was accepted with partial financial aid. It wasn't a full degree, but it was a chance to climb back. Pain and sacrifice. Life became a brutal cycle. Work nights at the hospital, attend classes in the evening, study whenever exhaustion allowed. Sleep was a luxury. Meals were skipped. There were days he wanted to quit, days when the weight of the world pressed him flat. One winter, his mother fell seriously ill back home. He didn't have enough to fly there. He cried quietly in the dormitory-like shelter room, ashamed of being powerless. That night, George sat with him again. "Son," George whispered, "sometimes we fight battles we can't win right away. But fighting still matters. Because every day you don't give up, you prove to the world and yourself that you are still alive." Those words became Adil's anchor. The breakthrough. After 2 years of struggle, sacrifice, and perseverance, Adil finally completed his certification. The day he held that paper in his hand, he felt it heavier than gold. He applied to engineering assistant positions. Rejection still came, but this time he had something to stand on. Then, one morning, an email arrived: "Congratulations. We are pleased to offer you the position of junior mechanical engineer at Horizon Tech Solutions." Tears blurred his vision. He thought of his father, of his mother's prayers, of George, of Emily, of all the nights he almost gave up. The impactful ending. Years later, Adil stood on a stage at a community event, invited to speak about resilience. He wore a simple suit, but his eyes burned with the fire of a man who had seen the edge and walked back. "My story isn't special," he told the audience. "It's not about genius or luck. It's about refusing to stay defeated. In America, the dream isn't handed to you. It demands blood, sweat, and tears. But if you fight for it, if you hold on even when your hands bleed, it will come. Not all at once, not easily, but it will come." As the audience applauded, he spotted George in the crowd, frail but smiling proudly. Emily sat beside him, holding Adil's mother's hand, who had finally visited the country her son had bled for. For the first time, Adil realized the truth: he hadn't just survived America, he had become America.